Welcome to the Rutgers Athletic Center, one of the most spirited arenas in college basketball, where today Rutgers hosts Notre Dame. The rack at Rutgers sold out again as the Fighting Irish have come to meet the Scarlet Knights. Good afternoon, everyone. Don Cricky with Jim Spinarkle. Notre Dame has been to the NCAA tournament the last 3 years, but the Fighting Irish right now at 10-6 know they have to go on a win streak to get back in. This is a key game for them, and as always, Jim, they'll look to their standout guard, Chris Thomas.
And Thomas is obviously the leader of this basketball team, the catalyst at the offensive end, where he averages almost 19 points a game. But I think this afternoon, one of the key things about him is not so much how he hits the jump shot, but how he controls the tempo of this game, because the rack is a very difficult place to play.
Rutgers is playing its best basketball of the season right now due to some phenomenal three-point shooting in the last 4 games. The Scarlet Knights have hit 52% of their threes, and a freshman leads them, Quincy Douby.
And coming off the bench, one of the things he has been doing well as of late is shooting the ball from long range. A guy who has given them a lift, especially those last 2 games in scoring, but really another guy who gives them a lift off the bench from the scoring standpoint and controlling the tempo also.
So it is. Rutgers and Notre Dame coming up. We'll have the starting lineups and the opening tip-off in a moment. This ESPN Plus game is brought to you by Hyundai. Only Hyundai has America's best warranty. 10 years, 100,000 miles. Hyundai, win. By Cooper Tire, proud to be the official tire of the Big East Conference. Cooper Tires don't give up a thing. And by Pontiac, fuel for the soul. And we are ready to go. Big East basketball from the rack at Rutgers, and it's loud already. These teams split 2 games last year, both winning at home. In fact, the home team has won the last 4 meetings. Rutgers defeated Notre Dame handily last March in this building with a barrage of three-pointers, winning 95-82 earlier in the season. The Irish had beaten the Scarlet Knights at Notre Dame. Rutgers coming in with an 11-6 record overall, 3-4 in Big East play. Notre Dame is 10-6, 4-2 in conference play. There are the starting lineups as you see them. There is Coach Mike Bray in his 4th year as the head coach at Notre Dame. In his previous 3 years, his teams at Notre Dame have averaged 22 wins a year and have gone to the NCAA tournament all 3 years. And in his 3rd year for the Scarlet Knights is Gary Waters, who has a building program here. Gary Waters, who begins his basketball conversations with pressure defense, but he's got now, Jim, to talk about three-point shooting because his team has been sensational at it.
Well, they have been doing that, and sometimes that can be an enemy, especially at the end of games. But Gary Waters knows that in this particular building, the rack, as you touched on, one of the toughest places to play because of the fans. When they hit the long ball, it usually gets that student body really aroused and going really bananas, if you will.
Now you see what the history is. Notre Dame leading 10-9 overall. Rutgers at home, though, is a very different ball club than they are on the road. Rutgers this year is 8-1 in this building, and the only loss was a 1-point loss to Connecticut, which at the time was the #1 team in the country. So the Scarlet Knights almost unbeatable in the rack. They really feed off the energy in this building. The officials for today's game are Mike Kitts, Donnie Gray, and Fran Connolly. There is Torian Jones, who's been a big producer for Notre Dame in his senior year. Starting to score in double figures, a very good defender, their best defender. Leading scorer in the backcourt is Chris Thomas. He averages 18.5 points a game. Up front, they have not starting Timmermans today, which they often do, but he'll be coming off the bench, their biggest player. And here's Rutgers with the ball. And this is Webb in the back line. A freshman point guard playing very poised, very spirited ball. The coaches are very pleased with the way he's acclimated to major college basketball.
And Shields a guy who will look for shots. He looks to drive a little bit, but watch for Shields going deep. Wiggin on the line. It's going to go the other way.
Wigan coming off a terrific game in the win at Villanova. He had 10 points and 10 assists, but Gary Waters sees a nemesis of his team rise up early, and that is the turnover. Step down the baseline of the court. Corinne Francis kicks it outside. Here is Quinn, and now Torian Jones driving. A good double-team defense. And Corinne Francis, Notre Dame's big man, knocks it down.
Nice spot up there by Francis from 15 feet away. Actually, Exani, because he helped out on the baseline and shut down with the double team, shut down the drive, had to give up that 15-footer.
Notre Dame really got ready for this game, Jim. As you know, they practiced twice yesterday, once at Notre Dame, then came in and practiced last night here at the rack. Lamizana with a terrific move to the basket, loses the defender, and a spin move ties it up. Right back the other way. Notre Dame feels they can beat Rutgers down the floor. The Rutgers is sometimes slow, Jim, getting back in transition defense.
And with the guard play of Notre Dame, with those two guys, Quinn and Thomas in particular, handling the ball, I think they're right, and they will look to do that up and down. Lamizana again down in the blocks, and this is where I think he's effective to start basketball games off. Get a little rhythm going down deep.
When he starts fast, Lamizana can be a force, and now he steals the ball, has it stolen away from him. Wigan. Rebound to Jordan Cornett.
Pretty good activity just then. Wigan had a pretty good move to the basket just then also. Just missed the shot coming off the underscoop. A nice little drive though. Once you get that right shoulder past the defender, sometimes you have pretty good success.
Thomas pulls up. He's short on the shot. Rebound comes down to Webb.
A little bit of a force there by Thomas.
Marquise Webb, the freshman guard, gets it down low to the captain, senior Sean Oksani. Out to Lamizana, who launches a three. And the rebound is swept down by Torian Jones, and Notre Dame sets its offense in a half-court pace.
3 or 4 blue shirts around the defensive glass that trip for Mike Bray's Notre Dame team.
And there's a foul signal down low. It's going to be on Rutgers. And Notre Dame will inbound the ball. The first foul of the game. It's on Joel Wiggins.
A little bit of away from the basketball, holding and grabbing.
Rutgers are very confident right now, coming off 2 wins, including a road win, their first road win in conference play in 2 years. They won at Villanova Wednesday night. Chris Quinn can't get the three-pointer to go. Here come the Scarlet Knights.
Whoa. Webb doing a little bit of a split
like a gymnastics move or something. Wiggins shoots. Rebound to Thomas. At 6'1", he still is a good rebounder, and he's very close to being Notre Dame's all-time assist record. 13 short of the record held by David Rivers.
Nice job by Exani right then along the baseline. Just twice we've seen Exani shut down the baseline. Thomas is going to come around the curl, and watch Exani steps out, puts a hand on the basketball. Good call from the officials.
Possession arrow was to Notre Dame, so the Irish keep the ball. Here is Jones losing it. Fight for the ball.
Oh, there's Donnie Gray's going to correct himself, I believe.
Last touch by Jones over to the Scarlet Knights.
Yeah, he inadvertently pointed the opposite direction just then. Here's that defense by Rutgers. They come at you, and then you'll see the jive. And the last guy to touch the basketball is a Notre Dame player, and it goes the other way.
Rutgers with that 52% three-point shooting over the last 4 games, which is extraordinary. 37 of 71 they've hit from the arc. Lamizana with a beautiful move to the basket.
So far, we've seen Lamizana go deep into the pocket down low twice. One time out to the 3. Much more effective, especially early in the game, to get his rhythm, get his mental edge down.
Very quick. Here is Corinne Francis going to the basket, and he is fouled by Oksani. One of the things they've been working with Francis on, Jim, is to get him to, when he does receive the ball low in the low post, to make a quicker move to the basket, not to wait.
Yeah, a little bit delayed just then, and that's why Exani reached out just from the end. I don't know, though. It was a step across move by Francis. Thought Exani was away from the play a little bit.
Chris Thomas, well defended. They go right back down to Corinne Francis, and he goes up. Can't get it down. Rebound tipped around. Lamizana comes up with it for Rutgers.
For Francis, though, a much better just then. A much better in terms of a quicker move.
First three-point try of the day from way out. And Quinn, one of the guards, rebounds for Notre Dame.
Rutgers not getting anybody to go to the offensive glass just then, so which indicates maybe a little quicker than they would have liked in the offense.
They're feeding that post down low early in this game. Jordan Cornett can't get the three to go. Rutgers again with the ball. Controlled break. Stolen by Cornett.
Good step around defense there. A little lazy on the entry pass.
And Chris Thomas off the lead pass from Thomas. Chris Quinn drills the three-point play, but nicely executed. Chris Thomas setting the table there.
Well, one of the things they're looking to do, especially on the turnovers, as you take a look at the shooting right now, Notre Dame, we've seen them twice take advantage of opportunities to push the basketball in transition. If they have that open 15-footer or so, they'll take it.
Axani shoots. And the rebound, Karam's out of bounds, so we have a timeout with 14:53 to play in the first half. And Notre Dame holding to a 3-point lead.
Please check to see if you have the program with this Scarlet.
Back at Rutgers, the Scarlet Knights, who've been hitting so well from three-point range, 0 for 4 from the arc so far today, Jim.
One of the problems with that is that they live and die by it sometimes. So Lamizana here starting off on the blocks. A pretty good move. He's got 4 points early, 2 for 3 from the floor. But one of the things about him is that he establishes himself on the blocks. It opens up the court for his other teammates. So clearly a good way for him to begin this basketball game and force Notre Dame to guard him down low.
Rutgers, the best team in the Big East at defending the three. They allow the opposition only 29% makes from the three-point arc. But Notre Dame's only try today by Quinn was good. And there's another by Chris Quinn. It Karam's off.
And they get Axani from behind, I believe.
That's an early problem for Axani. It's his first. They're going to give it to Lamizana with one, and Gary Waters. They're going to test the big men down low to see if they can defend. That's what a lot of teams do against Rutgers. Chris Quinn left free, and he strokes another three-point play. So it's today Notre Dame hitting the threes as Chris Quinn off to a 8-point start, and Notre Dame by 6.
Spoke to Mike Bray, coach of Notre Dame, before the game, and he said that Quinn is really coming into his own, getting a good comfort level. And there, Francis looking at the ball into the post at the offensive end and kicked it out. So it's a nice inside-outside look. It makes the shooter a lot easier.
Wiggin left free, and he knocks it down from the free throw line.
So much of this game is driven from the blocks first, and a lot of times because of the three-point stripe, I think fundamentally a lot of teams are playing it incorrectly nowadays. They shoot the ball long first and don't think about going inside.
Corinne Francis, the big man, averaging almost 16 a game, hits again on a jump shot, and Notre Dame again extends to a 6-point lead.
Notre Dame the last couple of times down the floor looked much more comfortable in not tracking down shots but letting the game come to them.
There's the three-point ball for Rutgers. Marquise Webb is left free at the arc and strokes it down, and the Scarlet Knights back to within 3.
Shooting it at 41% from 3, but his job today is really to shut down Chris Thomas. He has been hawking him as much as possible in his first 7 minutes or so.
And again, they go down low to Corinne Francis, and Axani so far cannot defend him. He has 6.
That's why you'll see Rutgers probably run a second player down there like they have. Spot up double teams to force the basketball to the wings.
Three-point shot is open, but it's short.
You could see the hesitation just then in Webb. I don't know why he hesitated. He just hit a nice one from long range, but just that small hesitation will cost you to miss your shot.
The scouting report on every team of Rutgers is you've got to pick their three-point shooters out way beyond the arc because they'll shoot from 23 or 24 feet.
Yeah, they definitely.
Make them.
Yeah, they sure will. And it doesn't matter what time of game in the game. They'll let it rip no matter what time.
Francis with a miss. Rutgers down by 5.
They got a mismatch right now with Lamizana guarded by Thomas.
Wiggin with a spin move. Rebound again to Thomas as he leads a 10-man break. Chris Thomas loses the ball after a good head fake that got him free for penetration.
Now Francis has been mixing it up. Here's Thomas going to the corner, a little step away. Axani gives him a little bit of room, and he jumps and shoots the basketball from 15. And now here's the straight up post up. Good strong move to get body contact and just lays it in off the glass. So good work just then by Francis.
Francis has hit 3 of 6 field goal tries today for 6 points. Webb kicks it out. Lamizana to the basket. And with great body control, Lamizana is off to a good early start. He can disappear for long stretches when he's on, though. He is a terrific player. And now a tremendous play inside, offensive rebound to Torian Jones, and he reverses for the putback.
Terrific work off the offensive glass by Jones on that long shot, but you're right about Lamizana. Did not settle for that outside 18-footer, went to the basket to take an easier shot.
Now Adrian Hill pivoting, going to the basket, and there's going to be a foul call on Notre Dame. It's going to be on Tom Timmerman, so Mike Bray has to feel good about the way his team started. Last year they couldn't stay with Rutgers as the Knights went on a 3-point tear. Bombing the threes as they beat Notre Dame by 13 last March. Welcome back to Rutgers. Don Criqui with Jim Spinarco. Notre Dame out to a 5-point lead with 11:22 to play in the first half of this Big East matchup. Notre Dame denying a sharp-shooting Rutgers team in recent games their 3-point attempts. Rutgers missed their first 4 threes and hit one. Here's Douby, who really can launch. Down low, and Adrian Hill is off glass against Timmermans. And Rutgers closes to within 3.
Obviously, Rutgers believes that they can score underneath against Notre Dame, and they've had some very good success early on in this basketball game. They're really looking to go to the post.
Chris Quinn from way outside the arc. They want him to hunt his shot more, to take a lot of threes. He came in hitting 41%. He had 41 of 100 tries coming to this game. Has 8 points already today. Lamizana against Jordan Cornette. And the 3-point shot rims out, but Lamizana puts it back up and down. And Rutgers is down by 1.
So many times you see the long shots. Players forget, especially on the defensive end, that long shots and long misses mean long rebounds. No one blocked out Lamizana. Terrific finish off the offensive glass.
Lamizana has 8 points. As his coach Gary Waters says about him, Jim, Herve can be as good as Herve wants to be, and today he wants to be very good because he has been outstanding.
And I think his effectiveness goes higher and higher when he decides to go lower and lower on the floor in terms of starting down on the blocks. He seems to get a good rhythm.
He is so quick, and with the long arms, almost impossible to defend one-on-one. Here is Douby, who hasn't had a look today with Quinn on him. Adrian Hill goes inside and throws the ball to the wrong guy, Torian Jones. Not a guy you want running your break. Thomas is left free. And a foul call will be signaled against the Scarlet Knight.
Thomas having some trouble getting his game on track at the offensive end also.
Ricky Shields, Rutgers' leading scorer with no points today, gets his first personal foul. Timmermans at 6'11". Stolen by Thomas.
Nice. Good looking inside. Good grab there by Francis.
Torian Jones goes over the top of the backboard, inbound to the Scarlet Knights with 9:27 to play in the first half. Notre Dame is led by as many as 6 twice.
Well, I think both of these teams recognize midway through their seasons or thereabouts how important this game is down the road if they have aspirations for the NCAA tournament.
3-point try. Rutgers taps it around, and Lamizana comes up with the ball. So the Scarlet Knights with a second chance to take the lead for the first time. Over to Quinn, who has the best assist-to-turnover ratio in the Big East. Turnover count just went up 1.
Yeah, exactly. Little tip right there, brought it up off the glass. Whoa, fan participation over there almost.
Open court pass by Joel Wiggin goes into row A, and it's back over to Notre Dame.
I think this tempo is being set from the defensive end for both of these teams right now. You've seen little spurts offensively by Notre Dame and Rutgers, but not enough.
Wow, it's Thomas. A spin move, and he gets it off glass. He has his first points of the day and a 3-point lead for Notre Dame.
He gave you the impression, too, that he thought that he was smacked on the elbow on that shot. Good use of the glass, though, on the floater.
Here is Douby. This is a guy that can launch from way outside the arc. But Quinn has denied him. And inside we have Shields going to the basket hard. And again, bringing Rutgers to within one.
Shields will break you down off the dribble sometimes. He looks to avoid the contact and get his little slip shots in. Because Notre Dame trying to pound the offensive glass. And Lamizana got smacked across the face, it looked like.
Lamizana took one above the eye, so there's a foul on Notre Dame and a timeout on the floor with 7:58 to play, first half. Here is Chris Thomas getting a friendly roll at the rack. Notre Dame holding to a 1-point lead over Rutgers on the Scarlet Knights home floor as we now take time for the Pontiac top performance of the week, and that was the sensational Ryan Gomes of Providence College.
And one of the things when you think about the Big East, and I think people outside the Big East, they usually think of Pitt and Connecticut and Syracuse, but this Providence team is a very good team, and Ryan Gomes is putting together a solid year once again. You look at those numbers, just a touch under a double-double.
He was absolutely brilliant in the upset at Connecticut, beating Connecticut at Hartford a week ago. And Providence has been without one of their best players, Rob Sanders. They're getting him back this weekend, I think.
Yeah, it makes a big difference for them. It gives them an athletic guy, another athletic guy who can really find spots on the floor and attack the basket. So it should be interesting if he comes back relatively healthy.
Shields stripped to the ball, picked up by Torian Jones, and he is fouled by a frustrated Shields, who hasn't really had a look today.
And Thomas that time with the strip as he went through the middle of the floor. So Thomas, the guy who's really not got on track totally offensively also, but it hasn't affected his defensive game for Notre Dame.
And Notre Dame's defense, Jim, picking Rutgers up way out, has forced the Scarlet Knights into 1 of 7 3-point shooting. That's 14%. It's a team that's been red hot from the arc for the last 4 games. Unbelievable.
Every time Thomas turns around, Webb has been there.
Corinne Francis turning on Lamizana. Puts it up and down on him. 8 points now for Corinne Francis. 8 points for Chris Quinn of Notre Dame.
And with Francis, he's not doing anything very fancy. It's just solid, fundamental post-up basketball.
Douby dishes to Adrian Hill.
That's what Douby has been doing so well for this team, using the ball to go through the lane, dribbling, and generally under control to make good passes just like that to Hill for the step-in dunk.
And again, it's a 1-point game. Here is Chris Quinn pulling up. And he gets the roll, and Quinn now leads all scorers with 10.
Quinn came down funny on one of his ankles, I believe, too. That's why he was slow getting back just then defensively against Douby.
And Douby spotted it as Douby saw that Quinn was hampered by a turned ankle and drove right on him, went baseline and scores on the layup. And it is again a 1-point game.
It shows you the smarts of Douby, too, actually recognizing that as quickly as he did. You see Quinn hobbling around, but Douby with that smart recognition sensed it very early. You'll see Quinn come off the dribble. He goes up. I'm not sure. See how his feet were kicked out. He probably landed incorrectly either by himself or on somebody's foot. And then Douby went down the other end of the floor, took advantage of it quickly.
So Chris Quinn is looked at for the ailing right ankle. Into the game comes the freshman Colin Falls. Thomas defended well by Webb. Great look by Thomas as he gets it down low to Jordan Cornett. Basket doesn't go, but Cornett, who's coming off one of his best games in the win over Miami Wednesday night. He had 12 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 blocks. He goes to the line.
Here comes Quinn again. We'll see if we take a look. Watch his split midair. Yeah, hard to see exactly whether he came down and just rolled it on the right ankle, but now what they'll do right now is just retape his ankle or tape it if it hasn't been taped already. Looks like he doesn't tape his ankles, actually, so they'll tape that ankle up to secure it, put some protection on it.
The last foul on Cornett was on Lamizana, so he's taken out of the game with 2. But Cornett with an expensive miss on the front end of a 1-and-1. Exanius body checked by Cornette. Perhaps a frustration foul by Cornette after missing the free throw.
Pretty good early intensity here from both teams also. The defensive pressure, the bumping, the grinding.
Adrian Hill goes back outside as Rutgers tries to free up the three-point shooters. There's Douby from way out. Rims out. Adrian Hill with the offensive rebound. Right back. Another try. Rebound off the knee of Turin Francis, and Rutgers gets it for a third time on this trip.
Notre Dame in a 2-3 zone right now, having trouble rebounding the basketball out of it.
Douby is left free. Knocks down a three. And Rutgers takes the lead for the first time, 24-23.
If at first you fail, just keep shooting the basketball. Great looking, terrific square up by Douby as they break 3-on-2 the other way.
And they just take the ball away from the freshman. Douby again. Douby good again. And this is Mike Bray's worst nightmare, that Rutgers would go on a three-point tear, as they now, with two quick threes from Douby, extend to a 27-23 lead.
And Douby doing a good job of really sizing up the Notre Dame defense. And it comes across, you know, his defensive player goes behind the screen, so that gives you 3 feet of shooting room. And now a great flare cut to the right side of the floor for another three. And as you can see in the background, the red sweaters and red shirts are starting to stand up and get involved.
And if Douby, the freshman sharpshooter, sees that Falls stays on him, he will take a three every time down, because Falls cannot defend him. He's not quick enough.
One of the things Mike Bray was talking about with this Rutgers team, he said, you know, when you least expect it, they will even shoot the basketball from long range. And Mike did not want to get into an up and down three-point shooting contest with this team. And I think that makes sense, because obviously when you're on the road, if you hit a three, it still counts for 3 points. But at home, it counts for 3, and then you get the fans involved, so it gives you more of a lift.
They can really get the fans involved here, as Douby now, Jim, has 8 points on 3 of 4 field goal shootings at 2 of 3 threes. Alan Falls, that's what he can do, the freshman. A very good perimeter shooter. And he brings the Irish back to within 1.
36% shooter on the season, but Douby got lost on that trip defensively, and he took advantage of it.
Chris Quinn looks like he's ready to come back in. He's loosening up on the sideline.
Yeah, he looks fine.
Down low, here's Sean Axani, the captain, playing in his 104th game as a Scarlet Knight. Sean Axani from Red Bank, New Jersey, but he stepped on the baseline of the court, so it comes inbounds to Notre Dame. Quinn comes back, and he comes in for Thomas.
Yeah, a lot of times when you turn that ankle, you can play on it. You'll feel it a little bit tomorrow. It hurts when you do it, but trainer retaping that ankle for him. He looks a little hobbled coming across half court.
He had 8 assists when he went to the point Monday night against Miami, did Chris Quinn. Rutgers packing in the defense against Turin Francis, but he gets it up and is fouled on the play by Adrian Hill, as Rutgers is now over the limit. 17 fouls on the Scarlet Knights.
Francis has proven early on that Gary Waters' team is going to have their hands full on the blocks if they allow that catch, the straight-up catch for him. You take a look at his numbers, already 4 for 8 from the field, getting some good touches and opportunities down there.
Sophomore Turin Francis hits the first free throw and ties the game. Notre Dame has led by as many as 6 points twice in this game. Rutgers rally back on the three-point shooting of Douby to take a 4-point lead. Now we're tied at 27 all. Turin Francis gets them both. He now has 10 points. And Notre Dame takes back the lead.
There's Quinn on Webb right now, so we'll see how he moves.
Douby left free.
Oh, he is in a big-time zone, isn't he? He's had games in high school where he's really lit it up from long range in the three, and his stroke looks very, very even right now.
Warming up, Jim. He doesn't miss. In one high school game, he hit 18 of 21 threes in a game. 18 threes.
Good news is, Don, we weren't guarding him.
54 points on threes. Here's Turin Francis.
Good kick out.
Out to Cornette. He hits a three.
I like the decisions by Francis, too, Don. We've seen him do that twice already. He's gotten the ball not in great position. That time he was 8 or 10 feet away from Mike Bray's team. Decided to just kick it back out for an easier shot.
They keep setting up screens for Axani, picking off defenders, trying to set up Douby.
They're going to have the students come out of the stands to set screens for Douby soon.
Somewhere along the way, it's almost a travel on somebody. And both have fallen on the floor, both teams with the ball. Webb.
Wow, you could see that was going to cause a problem right there.
Cornette with the block, and he takes down the ball.
Shot clock is working against him, though.
Yeah, he had to get something away. So we're down to 2:45 to play in the first half. Down low to Francis.
Zani again defensively, second guy in just then, just stepping across, forcing the action defensively, making it more difficult for Francis' attempt on the base.
Here you go. Here is Quincy Douby. The long-range boundary. Told me before the game he practices with 500 threes a day in the summer. Don Cricky with Jim Spinarco back at the rack at Rutgers, and now it's time for the Guinness Game Summary. The Scarlet Knights hitting 52% of their home floor, but the big story has been the shooting of freshman Quincy Douby, who has scored the last 11 points in this game for Rutgers.
And one of the things there, too, if you look at that points in the paint, if Rutgers can continue to do that, it's 16-8. That should stack up well for them as we head towards the latter part of this half and into the second half.
Chris Thomas back in the game now, working at the point for Notre Dame. See the Irish defenders come way out against the Rutgers sharpshooters. They will launch from 25 or longer. Douby fires again.
Great work without the basketball by Douby just then. A couple of screens. He ran along the baseline, bounced from the baseline to the top, and then really triggered back to the 12-foot area.
He started slow. He has been unstoppable. Quincy Douby now with 13 points. Guy averages 10.5 a game. And look at the reverse move by Torian Jones to give Notre Dame a 1-point lead.
I love the use of the baseline by Jones, but also the aggressive use of the baseline. Rutgers came out attacking him, standing straight up, and he broke him down. Two guys, in fact, along the baseline.
Back and forth game. It's been tied 3 times. There have been 6 lead changes in this game. Douby, Axani's his man, Jim. He's his body protector out there.
Exactly. Now he's got Chris Thomas on him, so Notre Dame is switching a few guys on him.
His personal blocker. Excellent play. Joel Wiggin gets his own errant shot and puts it back up and gives Rutgers the lead. 7 lead changes.
Wynn got a hand on that basketball, so that was a legal play.
Down low they go. Turin Francis can't get the shot to go. Here come the Scarlet Knights.
Interesting how Quinn just stayed with Douby that trip the whole way, just around the 3-point stripe.
Axani so unselfish. Gets it off. Rebound taken down by Jordan Cornette. And Chris Quinn with his team down by 1 and 45 seconds on the first half clock. Sets the offense. Long ball, and Chris Quinn bombs the 3. And Chris Thomas bombs the 3. He now has 5 points. And Notre Dame takes back the lead 36-34. It's been wild.
Well, one of the things about Thomas is he has that ability to kind of lull you to sleep. And just then for Mike Bray's team, I didn't think he was going to go that quickly with the shot clock. But there's a couple of seconds, 3-second differential. So really he was looking for an opportunity to go 2 for 1 and get the last shot of the half if it works for their favor.
Now we take a look at the Ameritrade Big East scoreboard. UCLA playing at St. John's. Interesting, the last time Ben Holland was at Madison Square Garden before today, he was coaching Pittsburgh last March to the Big East Tournament Championship.
And look at Connecticut, obviously, at Boston College, and West Virginia team that's coming along a little bit. Should be a decent game at Villanova. Virginia Tech and Syracuse. Syracuse number 22 in the country right now. And Georgetown against Miami. Going down to Miami, Don, is always a tough place to play, but their backcourt is pretty good this year.
They got some good young players like Height. Rutgers now with 28 seconds on the shot clock. There's a 2-second differential. They will shoot before the time elapses in the first half.
Notre Dame has a couple of fouls to give, too. They only have 3 team fouls, so if they get in trouble, they can do a little reaching and grabbing.
Team fouls are like timeouts. You can't take them into the second half. Chris Quinn comes up with the ball.
He looks up at the clock.
Lead pass to Torian Jones. Reversed by Jones. Put back up and in by Turin Francis. So just before the buzzer, Notre Dame goes on a 5-point run, a 6-point run. And first half that saw 8 lead changes, 3 ties. And Notre Dame leads by 4 at the half.
A terrific defensive effort by Notre Dame, and Quinn triggers the basketball down the floor to Jones, and then you get the work right there. I guess it's Francis over the top of his own teammate Cornette, but great work by Notre Dame to flush down the floor, and Quinn, as soon as he got the basketball done, recognized that there was 5 seconds on the clock and didn't have a whole lot of time to make decisions.
But made a good one, and Notre Dame rallies back to take the lead 38-34. We'll be back to Rutgers in a moment.
At Rutgers, we create knowledge for its own sake. This is a place where learning, discovery, and service are nurtured and entwined. But our university also creates knowledge that is useful, especially to the people of New Jersey. We serve our state best when our aspirations reach beyond its borders. This university is called Rutgers.
Back at Rutgers, Notre Dame leading the Scarlet Knights by 4 at the half. Now quickly with Jim Spinarco. Game has seen 8 lead changes, 3 ties in the first half. You get the feeling Jim is going to go down to the final horn. What about the pace of the game, though? Seems to favor Notre Dame at this point.
Yeah, I think Mike Bray would be very happy with that, Don, because even though Rutgers has hit a couple of the long shots, 4 for 11 from the field from the 3-point stripe, they haven't got rattled, and I think their tempo has been pretty good overall from a Notre Dame perspective.
Any coaching adjustments you would make?
Well, the one thing I would do if I'm Rutgers, I clearly would get Lamizana involved down low as we take a look at some of these highlights. Francis started pretty well down on the blocks, and I think this is what Rutgers should do, and I think Notre Dame should continue to do. Get the touches down on the blocks, but clearly from a Rutgers perspective, Quincy Douby was the guy. I mean, he came out looking for shots. His stroke was there. They started then feeding off him off the break for his long-range shooting, running him off some screens. So if they can continue that hot hand, they have to continue to ride it if you're Rutgers.
Those the Hyundai highlights, and certainly Quincy Douby was the featured player in those with, at one stretch, 11 straight Rutgers points. As we look at the overall shooting number.
Yeah, and you look at these shooting, and I think it's pretty good from a Rutgers perspective. I think their spots have been pretty good, a couple extra turnovers, but they continue, and I think they really have to continue to get the ball in the blocks, as I just touched on. That's where they'll wear Notre Dame down a little bit.
Well, it's going to be good for the final 20 minutes or longer. This could be OT. Back to Rutgers in a moment. We are back and ready to go. Rutgers will inbound the ball to start the second half. Rutgers with 10 turnovers in the first half. Notre Dame with 7. Rutgers did not hit any free throws, did not shoot any in the first half. Notre Dame was 3 of 4. Rutgers with 2 players with minimal personal foul problems. Lamizana and Exani each with 3. Long ball starts the second half, but it's way off target, and Notre Dame comes down court.
And it comes down to early shot selection by Rutgers right there. Not the one they wanted. I think they have to once again test it a little bit before settling outside. Good strip there by Webb.
Chris Thomas turnover will bring Rutgers to within 2 as they get a breakaway layup.
Thomas was caught in traffic at the Notre Dame offensive end of the floor. Webb very quick with the hands. He's got some size, and he's been staying with Thomas on a regular basis throughout this game.
Webb, a very, very good freshman defender.
That ball must have been.
That one right off of Rutgers' foot.
That's what I thought also. They got to regroup on this one, I think. Unless my eyes are going. That clearly looked like it was off the foot, right?
Thought it was.
See, it's so far down the court, that angle, but across the court from Mike Bray and company also. It's just in the furthest part of the court away from them at their offensive end.
Well, the officials are closer than anybody, so they didn't barely see it hit anybody. Here come the Scarlet Knights, down by 2, looking to tie it up or take the lead. Lamizana with a spin-off move is fouled.
I love it when he goes quickly down there also. Cornette just about getting ready to defend him, and then you get that blast, quick, fast move by Lamizana. Here's the catch. Watch Cornette. He doesn't think he's going to go that quickly. Throws a little bit of a right elbow hook to get around him, which is close to being an offensive foul, but not quite.
Jordan Cornette just got his second personal foul for Notre Dame. And Lamizana at the free throw line, who was a very effective player, very efficient in the first half, hitting 4 of 5 field goal attempts. And now he can tie the game with his second free throw.
That is 8 points and 6 rebounds in that first half.
Lamizana, a 63% free throw shooter, gets them both, and Rutgers now brings pressure after the made free throw.
We're going to make it a little more difficult for Notre Dame to advance the basketball and to get to their sets.
Cornette is left free. Not enough on it. Rebound to Lamizana.
And that's what Rutgers wants. They want to get a little quicker shot from the offensive end for Notre Dame.
Lamizana can't get it to go. Rebound knocked around and slapped over to Turin Francis.
Exani doing some nice work on the offensive glass just then for Rutgers. Just didn't come down with the basketball. Notre Dame pretty good at flicking at the basketball.
That is Exani's game, doing all the little things that don't show up on the stat sheet. Chris Quinn is fouled as he comes off a stagger screen and can't get the shot away, but he is fouled. It'll be inbounds to Notre Dame. Notre Dame coming off a 10-point win on Wednesday night over Miami. Rutgers coming off a 3-point win at Villanova. The first win for Rutgers on the road in Big East play in 2 full years.
That's a third foul, too, Don, for Shields for Rutgers. So decision time right now. He's going to make good decisions at the defensive end of the floor.
Chris Thomas fades away, doesn't get it to go. Here comes Shields, who's been shut down offensively. Lamizana's been hot. Inside against Cornette. Jump pass. Jump stop. Ball's inbound to Notre Dame on a held ball.
The old jump pass, the jump stop, the jump ball, and everything defensively, though. Notre Dame really tightening it up. Take a look at Chris Thomas just having trouble getting shots off, really, with this Rutgers defenders.
These Rutgers, these guys can defend. This freshman, Marquise Webb, is a big-time player.
He's just staying with him, regardless of where he goes on the floor. He's catching up to him around the screens.
Thomas pulling up off the dribble and gives Notre Dame the lead back 40-38 in a game that has seen Rutgers turn it over 12 times.
And that time against Webb, he had to stop at the 15-foot line and drift away from the basket to get his shot off.
The three-point hit gives Rutgers the lead, 41-40.
Shields is either talking to the team, his bench, or he's talking at Jones, one or the other down there.
Shields now 1 of 4 from the three-point arc, but that one gives the Scarlet Knights the lead.
Francis really wants the ball in the blocks.
Francis rejected by Axani, but it's inbounds to Notre Dame. Good defensive play by Sean Axani, the captain of the Rutgers team.
A nice adjustment by Axani. In the first half, Francis was able to make that same move twice on him. Axani cheated, though, to his right side. Here he goes again. Good job. He's cheating to the right. Good adjustment by Axani.
And Thomas is fouled to the dismay of the Rutgers players as he spun off and tried to drive.
Both of these teams have to be conscious of driving the basketball and getting the other team in foul trouble, because in close games, those foul shots, you have to get to the line for free throw attempts.
Here's where Thomas hurts himself. He doesn't have many points, and he's forcing shots, and he's hurting his team.
Yeah, Webb responded pretty well there. He fought on the ball fake, went by, then his quickness to get back.
Driving shot is good, and there's a foul on the play. So Rutgers will now look for the three-point play as they take back the lead and can extend to 4.
Good drivers have to be willing to get hit and make contact, and Lamizana creates the contact on that drive. He actually leads with his left shoulder to graze the body of the defender and finishes the play off. Nice, strong drive.
Lamizana continues to build his numbers. A 5 of 7 from the field, 3 of 3 from the line. He has 13 points. And Rutgers down by 4 at the half has rallied back to take a 4-point lead.
Let's see if the Fighting Irish can try to get something going towards the basket here or to the blocks of the post.
You might want to think about getting the ball in the hands of Quinn, your best shooter. He hasn't had a look in the second half. He hasn't seen the ball.
Exani that trip trying to stop the ball from going to Francis on the blocks, Gary Waters' team. A couple of fouls going against him in the last 2 sets down the floor.
Jordan Cornette comes out. Big Tom Timmermans comes in. Exani gets his second foul. Here's Chris Quinn. Good defense against him by Shields as they double him up.
Good step across there by Exani again to force him away from the basket.
Chris Thomas. He can go cold. He's done it in this half. And a foul on Timmermans. I'm not sure Thomas can play point guard as good as Chris Quinn.
Yeah, they may want to, in terms of interchangeable parts right there, have Quinn handle it. Sometimes Thomas run him off a screen or two to free him up, take a little bit of pressure off him of dribbling the ball up the floor.
Long ball. Great offensive rebound. Joel Wiggin giving away height, screens away the Notre Dame defender, and Rutgers has its biggest lead.
Nice anticipation by Wiggin also. Right side shots will generally miss. 3 out of 4 that miss will go to the left side.
Before Turin Francis gets the shot off, he is fouled on the play. Exani just got his 3rd personal foul. Could be expensive. Exani has 4 blocks today for the Scarlet Knights. Back at Rutgers, the Scarlet Knights are on an 8-0 run, hitting 4-7 field goals this half. Notre Dame 1 of 6 in the field as Rutgers has taken its biggest lead, leading by 6 after trailing by 4 at the half. Here's Turin Francis down low. Doesn't get it to go. Timmermans loses it. Lamizana outworking the Notre Dame inside player to get the rebound.
Timmermans had a great opportunity just then, but unfortunately couldn't get his left hand, his second hand on the basketball. Lamizana just scarfed the basketball up away from him.
Douby is now in the game, the freshman sharpshooter. Rebound down to Turin Francis on the miss.
A little bit of a settle just then for Rutgers.
Here's Chris Quinn pulling up. He hits the front of the iron. And here comes Rutgers again.
Quinn turned that right ankle in the first half. And maybe during the halftime break got a little stiff on him. Seems to be moving okay though.
Yeah, he was only out about 3 minutes on the bench and has come back in. Lamizana seeing nothing there as Notre Dame doubles up on him down low.
Still in the man-to-man straight up. They're trying to take a look at Douby, but Quinn is all over Douby, not letting him go and not helping out ball side at all.
Shot clock down to 5. Rebound to Turin Francis. And Notre Dame needing a hit on this trip down the floor. Not getting many offensive looks against a very good Rutgers defense. Chris Thomas misses another one. He is now 3 of 10 for the day on the field.
Now that's about as good a look from long range as he's going to get also. He had a dribble. He had his footwork going well. Just came up a touch short on the jumper. Watch for that spin baseline move.
Lamizana gets it up and down.
Notre Dame needs to get a good shot right now.
Rutgers called for a personal foul as Torian Jones on the spin move drives to the basket. Shooting the rock is brought to you by Rolling Rock Beer. Grab a rock.
We'll talk about troubles in the second half. Our Notre Dame 1 for 10. Rutgers a solid second half after a very good first half of shooting for them. With this 8-point lead right now, numbers really starting to stack up in their favor.
Notre Dame getting one from Torian Jones at the line. 13:49 to play in regulation in the game.
Notre Dame realizes how important this game is for them too, Don. They have just a monster schedule coming at them in February. I mean, they just have teams that are stacked up, so they know how important this is for Mike Bray. They get teams like Pittsburgh, Connecticut, Seton Hall, at Syracuse, at Connecticut, Providence. I mean, I don't want anything to do with that schedule except to watch it from them.
Yeah, a schedule made by the Marquis de Sade. It's Wigan now, looks down low. Rutgers building its lead in the second half, playing very patiently, looking for good shots. Douby drives, and a foul call is on Notre Dame.
Notre Dame foul number 1, Chris Thomas.
Thomas gets his first personal foul.
The Irish score, team foul.
Notre Dame with 4 team fouls in the second half. The Scarlet Knights have 5 team fouls.
It's always interesting to watch Rutgers, too, and they get a good lead like they have right now, 7-point lead. Make sure you take good shots and have good possessions.
Douby drives. Here's Torian Jones.
Oh, good kick save there by, who's that? Webb got a foot on it.
Kick save and a beauty.
You got it. Well, that was a layup for Quinn. If he didn't get that foot on the ball, Mike Bray's team would have had a layup to cut this lead a little bit.
Well, if they don't get the ball in the hands of their best shooter more, Chris Quinn, they're going to be out of business. And now Jordan Cornette.
Uh-oh, here comes the...
As people start up after the play.
The initial call was the correct call. Cornette set a roadblock, a moving pick on the baseline. On the left side of the floor, down low. Here comes the cut across the watch. He's moving and he slams him. The question becomes, what prompted Cornette to push Lamizana?
Cornette just got his 4th personal foul and is lucky if he stays in the game. With a little pushing on both sides. College basketball has done a magnificent job of stopping all fighting because you're gone with the first punch you swing, and if you do another one, you're gone for the season if you're 2 fighting offenses.
Well, they're going to review this, as much of the tape as they can see, and what occurred right after that play.
You had it though, Jim. It was a moving pick.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good call right here. That's a good call because he's moving.
He definitely was moving. It's a foul on Cornette.
But Lamizana is not in that particular play right there. Yeah. So you have a situation where what caused him to react to Lamizana is what I couldn't pick up from this.
Lamizana walked across and bumped into him.
Yeah, I think to protect his teammate.
Well, the truth machine, the videotape tells all. Here it is again, Jim.
Right, there's the bump. Well, see, that's what starts it right there. You're right, Don.
That was Lamizana.
Yeah, Lamizana came over and bumped into Cornette. So they're going to, let's see if they pick up on the same thing we just saw there. Well, that's the beauty of being able to go to the replay.
Mike Kitts explaining it to Coach Mike Bray. We'll watch again now.
Okay, we'll take a look at the pick down in the left corner, excuse me. So here comes the pick.
That's a foul on Cornette.
Okay. And then right after that play,
that's a foul on Lamizana.
Yeah, but at that particular point, the whistle has been blown.
So Cornette got the foul and then the technical foul after it, so he's got 5 and he's gone.
Right.
And they send Douby to the free throw line, so Rutgers in position now to possibly take command of this game, up by 7 with the sharpshooting freshman Quincy Douby at the free throw line. Shots and possession. This guy doesn't miss.
See, the thing down, though, to kind of close that whole situation there, I'm a little concerned that how they review that in terms of with Lamizana walking over and doing the bump to kind of instigate that. So they did see that and determined that the referees determined that that wasn't part of anything. So you got to believe right there that that's in essence starting it, and then all of a sudden the pushing starts. But what prompted that push? That particular side of the play. So I'm not exactly sure why they didn't say anything to Lamizana about that.
Well, the Notre Dame coaches are furious. There was no call on Lamizana. But the Scarlet Knights have built to a 9-point lead, their biggest of the game. We are back and ready to play the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Coach Gary Waters, he must have said some of the right things, Jim, at halftime, because they're on a 16-3 run here in the second half. And Notre Dame in danger of getting blown out, and now there's a violation called on Rutgers, and the ball turns back.
Well, one thing that will be very clear, Don, is that these officials will take control of this basketball game. Anytime you have a situation that just occurred before the break, they will look at these screens and the motion away from the basketball and really blow the whistle very quickly, and that's the smart thing to do.
Well, there are three guys that have seen a lot of action. They're three of the best. Kitts, Gray, and Connolly. Here is Chris Quinn pulling up. Hit from behind. The ball was blocked cleanly, and now Timmermans goes for the ball. It's ruled last off Lamizana, who's played a terrific game for Rutgers with 15 points and 9 rebounds. Herve Lamizana, the guy his coach says Herve can be as good as Herve wants to be. Quinn, left free, he's short. Rebound comes down, and here comes Rutgers up by 9 with 12:38 to play.
All the momentum and the crowd behind them right now, and once again, another quick whistle inside, I believe.
I tell you what, Rutgers has really done in the second half. They've stepped up their defense tremendously. They're really playing terrific defense. And that's the mantra of Coach Gary Waters. Pressure man defense.
Right. And Timmermans that time holding on in the interior. That's number 7 for Notre Dame from a team perspective. Rutgers had 6. So we're in the first half. We moved along pretty quickly in terms of the lack of fouls, especially Notre Dame's end. It has really changed a little bit here in the second half.
Marquise Webb, as we see Colin Falls come in for Chris Quinn. Marquise Webb at the free throw line, the first big New Jersey recruit for Gary Waters in his tenure at Rutgers. He's out of Patterson Catholic, Marquise Webb. And Rutgers leads by 11 after being down by 4 at the half. Absolutely have taken the game over. And the Notre Dame turns it over again. A loss of composure by the Irish.
Notre Dame is understanding, and Mike Gray talked to us about that before the game, how difficult this building is to play.
They're getting Falls right out of the game. He's just not ready to play some days at this speed.
Right, and especially in this building, it's just overwhelming for the youngsters. Rutgers just has to take time off the clock and be patient and look for good shots. And Notre Dame obviously has to start stopping them a little at their defensive end, or they're going to be in trouble.
Among the other things Jim Lamizana can do is put the ball on the floor. Here is Douby with the long ball. Rebound tipped over to Torian Jones, and Chris Thomas leads a controlled break for Notre Dame.
Well, that's a great example of Douby's shot, of how effortlessly he gets that shot off, because he was drifting from the right corner away from the basket.
Corinne Francis rejected and fouled by Lamizana, who now has 3. And Rutgers with 7 team fouls, so both teams over the limit.
You see, there's some body on that call, but that's just another indicator of where the officials now. If you're a player in this type of game, Don, you want to go aggressively to the basket as much as you possibly can, because the officials are looking to blow the whistles right now. So if you're a player, take it and drive right to the hoop with it. You'll get a call 99% of the time.
Good point. Corinne Francis, the free throw line. He started out the year, he's shooting 78% from the line. He has tailed off. Notre Dame is second in the Big East in free throws behind Villanova. But the Irish in the recent games have not been as effective as they were earlier.
The last 7 games in particular, they were number 2 in the country, and they've worked their way down, from 78.7 to about just over 73%.
Chris Thomas with a good shot, a good open look. He can't get it to drop.
Oh, does Jones ever go after the basketball? That was just a terrific offensive effort on the rebounding side.
Chris Quinn sitting on 10 as he was with 3 minutes to play in the first half. And Torian Jones goes to the free throw line. Front ends, how expensive they are to miss them. Cost of potential 2 and possessions.
Especially when you're down 10. And plus, it keeps you rattled from a mental perspective, too.
This is not the guy they want shooting the ball. Here's the guy they do want shooting it, Quincy Douby. And
a little too much action right there.
It'll be a Rutgers possession arrow. Scarlet Knights keep the ball with 11:17 to play in the game. So Rutgers with a big second half rally coming from behind and taking command of the game by 10.
The more you discover about the Hyundai Elantra, the more it makes sense.
We're back. Don Criqui with Jim Spinarkle at the Rutgers Athletic Center, where the Scarlet Knights have rallied from 4 down at the half to lead by 10. In the middle of the screen, upper left, with a baseball cap on, that is Brian Toll, one of the most sought-after high school recruits in the country, a fullback and linebacker from the great program at Don Bosco Prep in Ramsey, New Jersey. He is visiting Rutgers as his 5th and final official visit. Of course, National Signing Day is Wednesday, February 4th. Terrific player. Here is Chris Thomas getting a hand on the ball, knocking it free. Rutgers gets it back. And Chris Quinn gets it and knocks it over to Torian Jones. And Notre Dame badly in need of some offense.
And that would be a great recruit getting back to Toll for Rutgers to land here at the University. Greg Schiano doing just a marvelous job of trying to keep New Jersey kids in state to build this Rutgers program. They're starting to make some strides. And a guy who puts a lot of effort in and heart and soul into his program. And I'm sure it's just a couple of years before they start to get recruits like that.
He'd be a great one to get. Now a turnover. Douby banks it off glass. Rebound. Look at Thomas. No foul call as Thomas is knocked to the floor. Man alive.
Wow. Action is picking up, huh? And so is the differential in the score, because Rutgers is really challenging and making things happen. Douby that time, the second time, elected to go in towards the big guys. He pulled up to the first 8-footer and then decided better of another one and went after the glass.
No open looks for Notre Dame from the arc. Rutgers defense too good. Notre Dame is 1 of 12 shooting the ball in the second half. Notre Dame has scored 4 points in the second half.
Notice the quick whistles down below, though, Don. Every time the ball gets thrown to the blocks, 70 or 80% of the time there'll be a call. And you take another look at these numbers. Notre Dame having all sorts of problems shooting the basketball in the second half. 1 for 12, just doesn't get it done in the rack.
And Turin Francis will go to the free throw line. Former McDonald's All-America Player of the Year. Mike Bray, knowing his team needs to go on a run, not only in this game but on the season. Guy who's averaged 22 wins a season at Notre Dame in his 3 years there prior to this. 3 NCAA teams, a Sweet 16 team last year. But there's just no good shots in the field for Notre Dame. That's the Rutgers defense has been tremendous.
Yeah, Mike Bray prepares his team as well as anybody, but he knew coming into this building that he couldn't get into a rattle type of offensive set against this team. Not so much even against Rutgers, but against the crowd here in the rack.
There is Douby launching a 3. There's nobody better. 20 points for Douby. Another steal.
Douby just pushed Jones from behind also, so let's keep an eye on those two guys getting to know one another a little bit.
Rutgers very poised, under control, running the game, running the clock with a 13-point lead after trailing by 4 at the half.
They just will not give Douby a shot from out there. The big fella. Okay.
He can shoot from a lot farther out than that, though. It's remarkable. Another open 3.
Mike Bray has to be careful here. This is getting out of hand for him.
Lights out at Rutgers.
Talk things over. It's a good call because the rack is alive and well right now.
Hasta luego, Fighting Irish. Rutgers on a 26-6 run. Blowing Notre Dame out in the second half.
Well, you can just see the confidence building for Rutgers around the horn. Very, very patient with this set. And Webb from long range, hitting nothing but the net nylon right there. Gary Waters' team is really playing as well as I've seen them play, especially here at the rack where they do get it going pretty well.
And now let's take a look at the Advanced Auto Parts upcoming schedule. Notre Dame at Boston College on Wednesday, and look at that run after that. Pittsburgh, Connecticut, Seton Hall, at Syracuse. And then after that, it's at Connecticut.
And we take a look at the Rutgers schedule. Difficult at times there with Miami, at Seton Hall, at Syracuse, but not as tough as the Notre Dame schedule coming up.
And Notre Dame finally gets a shot, breaking a 26-6 Rutgers run. Still 8:40 left to play in the game, but the Scarlet Knights with this big lead are going to shorten the game. Running shot clock.
There you go by the big guy.
Beautifully done by Timmermans, rejected and took the loose ball.
Each possession now, Notre Dame has to make sure, not time to hurry yet because there's still over 8 minutes to go, but need to get good looks every trip.
Chris Quinn drives on a good assist from Chris Thomas.
Good decision there by Quinn also. Was thinking of the long-range shot, but when you're down as many as they are on the road, you get it done going to the basket and getting to the blocks and getting to the free throw line. So good decision by him to go through the lane.
Good screen set again by Axani. Steal by Quinn, stolen back by Wiggins. Underneath and a foul on Turin Francis. A very good foul because it was an open shot for the Scarlet Knights.
And a difficult break there for Quinn, too, because he had the strip. He had the basketball for a moment, then it was taken away from him. And then obviously Rutgers had the numbers going right at their basket, their end of the court.
Rutgers at the free throw line. Shot no free throws in the first half, but the Scarlet Knights are 7 for 7 in the second half. 8 for 8.
Herve Lamizana returns for Rutgers.
Lamizana comes back on the floor, gets a big ovation with 15 points and 9 rebounds. Douby, the freshman, has hit 7 of 12 shots in the field, including 4 of 6 threes. He leads all scorers with 20 points. Notre Dame's leading scorer is Turin Francis with 17. Chris Quinn has 12. Chris Thomas 7. Chris Quinn shoots. Bags a three-pointer. It's a 10-point game.
And it's character time for Notre Dame right now, and they're showing the last couple of possessions that they have some character. The test they've answered 2 straight times down the floor with good decisions. Quinn in particular playing solid basketball in the last 90 seconds.
And that was also attributable to the good play of Chris Thomas setting up the three-point shot. Thomas is at his best when he's setting the table.
Well, Don, Rutgers can't squeeze too much time out of the clock because they have to play a little bit more up-tempo than what they have. Because sometimes you get into like these little funks when you start taking too much time off the clock. You don't get into a good rhythm offensively.
Well, it's been exciting. Gary Waters with an excellent coaching job today, getting his team turned around at halftime. And they came out through the first 10 minutes of the second half. They held Notre Dame to 4 points. Went on a 26-6 run. Look at the Big East standings. Pitt is the first team in the nation, first Division I team to get to 20 wins this season. Panthers at 20-1. And a half game up on Providence in the conference standings in Big East play. Connecticut, a little bit of a slump lately, but they'll be there in the end because they always are.
Absolutely. And then you take a look at these teams that are thinking of trying to advance up the ladder. Rutgers at number 10 right now. So a very important game for them.
Rutgers ready to inbound the ball with 7:09 to play. Lamizana puts Timmermans in the air. Rebound knocked around, taken down by Hill, and he puts it back. And it's tipped over by Timmermans to Quinn to Chris Thomas.
That's probably one that Hill could have taken outside again and used a little more shot clock.
Chris Thomas now 3 of 12 shooting the ball.
Shields doing a good job defensively as the guard or a perimeter player to get back into the pack and try to rebound the basketball.
Lamizana with a fake.
going to be out front, though, with Timmermans just then holding on to him.
And that's 4 on Tom Timmermans. Each team with 9 team fouls. Notre Dame gets the ball in the hands of their scorers. They could get back in it, but Rutgers is denying possessions.
Well, one of the things with Rutgers is that their perimeter game, both at the offensive end and now importantly at the defensive end, should be able to stay with Thomas and Quinn and make life a little bit more difficult than just coming down the floor and doing whatever you want to do.
Rutgers continues to shoot perfectly at the free throw line. They've missed 1. They're 9 of 10. And 10 of 11, and they're back up to a 12-point lead, and there's a timeout on the floor with 6:35 left to play. The Scarlet Knights of Rutgers getting a standing ovation, and well-deserved, as they lead by 12. Rutgers has rallied in the second half to take a 12-point lead, and it's time now for the Cooper Tire Defensive Player of the Game. And he is the captain of the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, Sean Axani, the senior, playing in his 104th game as a Scarlet Knight. 4 blocks and 2 steals, and a lot of defense for Axani.
And that's one of the things consistently that he brings to the table for Rutgers. You see his 4 blocks, 2 steals, but very, very consistent effort at both ends of the floor, and today especially with the defensive stops.
Thomas with the ball. Let's see what they come out of the timeout and try to do. Thomas is going to shoot. Knock it down. It's again a 10-point game.
Notre Dame going to pick up a little bit now, put a little bit more pressure on the Rutgers ball handlers, but I think still Rutgers doesn't have to come down and fire away, but I think they have to start looking to play basketball at the offensive end and look to score a little bit more than their last 2 sets.
Yeah, they're running a lot of shot clock, shortening the game. Here is Lamizana. Rebound comes down to Notre Dame. Torian Jones gets it.
Not a great shot for Rutgers that trip, though.
Chris Quinn with the ball, well defended by Marquise Webb, the freshman.
Good job.
Chris Thomas out-hustles everybody to the ball. Thomas puts it back up and down.
Starting to feel it, too. You can see it in his body. Thomas shooting the basketball the last 2 trips that he touched it. Much better elevation, good squaring to the hoop, and a nice release.
And the Scarlet Knights see their lead cut to 8 with still a lot of time to go. 5:36 left to play.
There's a huge amount of time left in this basketball game, so Thomas, watch the shoulders square, gets a good look, and you can just see in his body language right there, he's confident in himself in terms of shooting the basketball.
Take a look now at the Ameritrade out-of-town top 25 scoreboard. Kentucky up on Vanderbilt. Clemson leading North Carolina. Ohio State leading the Boilermakers of Purdue at West Lafayette, Indiana. 5:04 left to play in the game. Coach Gary Waters, his team coming in 11-6 overall, 3-4 in the conference. And Mike Bray, his counterpart. Holland plays defensively as Notre Dame brings pressure.
I like that timeout by Gary Waters just then. He sensed that his team for about a minute or so getting out of sorts at the offensive end. Shake them up a little bit, bring them over, and talk about again what your mission is in the last 6 minutes of a basketball game. Zani with a mismatch down low. And they're going to get Quinn, I believe, for hanging on to the bigger fella.
No, Sean Axani was the guy who was fouled, and that stopped the clock with 5:15 to play. And Axani, who's only a 52% free throw shooter, goes to the line. Coach Waters feeling better about that.
Oh, absolutely. You can get him to put that first one in, get ready to block out.
Rutgers right there doing a great job at the free throw line in this game. They've hit 12 of 13 all in the second half. Notre Dame's hit 7 of 11 free throws.
Not a good one.
Nope. But the rebound comes down to Francis, and he is quickly fouled, and so Turin Francis will go to the free throw line.
That shot came down in a hurry, too, didn't it? It slammed off the backboard. Sometimes those shots are the most difficult ones to rebound because you can't really get timing on them. They don't hit the rim. It doesn't settle up there for a second.
Axani just got his 4th personal foul for the Scarlet Knights. Big Turin Francis knocks down the free throw. He averaged almost 18 points and 13 rebounds in Notre Dame's 3 NCAA tournament games last spring.
Chris Thomas 5 of 15 from the floor.
He now leads Notre Dame with 19 points, including 7 of 8 from the free throw line as the Irish again bring pressure against the Knights.
Should be a good last 5 minutes of this basketball game.
Shields pulls up, launches and hits a huge 3. And the lead is back to 10.
That's why right there, I mean, that's a good shot in their offense because Shields knows he has the confidence to shoot the basketball. So that's called playing with Notre Dame, not just settling in terms of wearing the clock out.
Turin Francis with the rebound, and he's fouled. And that stops the clock with 4:39 to play. So Ricky Shields, the junior, the leading scorer for Rutgers, showing his confidence.
Douby with the delivery across court. And Shields, a very confident shooter, especially as of late, really nailing everything from three-point land.
Shields has 8 points today, but in the previous 3 games, Ricky Shields had scored 19 points in each game for Rutgers. 3 straight 19-point performances for Ricky Shields, a junior from Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Turin Francis misses them both, and Rutgers with control of the game and the ball.
This half-court set, get a couple of touches, get everybody involved. And then at about the 20 to 15 second mark, start really playing basketball and go into your sets. Don't wait till the last 8 seconds or so.
Douby hunting his shot, will get it in the lane. How good is he going to be?
See, Notre Dame has to make an adjustment, though, Don. They can't put Timmermans on that switch and have him play a little guy like that. The little guy will just take advantage of him all afternoon. That's why he got to the lane so easily.
Thomas looking to launch. Out to Chris Quinn. Inside to Timmermans. And the Scarlet Knights lead is cut to 11. But again, they will methodically move the ball up the court and run the clock. A lot of shot clock left. Still 20 seconds to go in the shot clock.
Here you have small guy with the ball. Now they find Lamizana with the switch on Thomas down low. This is great execution by Gary Waters' team. They're picking them apart. Outside versus the inside.
Rutgers' second half play. I mean, this has got to be the best play of Rutgers this season, the second half. Masterful. Took over the game. Back to Rutgers in a moment. Back to live action. Don Criqui with Jim Spinarco. Notre Dame with the ball and down by 13. Chris Thomas into the lane. He's rejected by Lamizana. And here come the Scarlet Knights, but in their wisdom, they quickly settle it down. There's going to be a foul call in Notre Dame. The Irish had a grab to stop the break.
Well, after a timeout like that, you try to get a good shot. And Thomas came down the lane and was answered by Rutgers. So you really need that one after a break. And Rutgers just continues to settle into a nice style of basketball, blending the inside, outside, and blending the good adjustments that Gary Waters has made for this club this afternoon.
At the free throw line, Marquise Webb, the freshman, he now scored 11 points. Lamizana has 19 for the Scarlet Knights. The freshman Douby has 22. Notre Dame is led by Turin Francis with 19, Chris Quinn with 15, and Chris Thomas with 11. Dorian Jones goes inside.
Oh, big time answer.
Francis rejected by Lamizana.
Boy, was that ever a big time answer just then defensively.
Play of the game, right there. Play of the game.
Absolutely. You take another look. Going up strongly to block this one, and then the fans just take over from this point on with the reaction that they give.
Allen Falls tries a three. And offensive rebounding nicely is Torian Jones, but before his shot, there's a foul called on Notre Dame. The shot is waved off. Torian Jones just got his second. Rutgers has blocked 8 Notre Dame shots today.
Yeah, they've had some opportunities, Notre Dame, in the first half where they got a couple of shots off clearly down low, but everything in the second half has been pretty much contested by Rutgers.
And as you know, Jim, a win in this game today at the Rack would give Rutgers a 9-1 home record this season, with the only loss being by 1 point to the then #1 team in the country, Connecticut.
Well, not many teams like to see that word "at" before Rutgers when you're playing them, that's for sure.
Scarlet Knights in command by 16. Fighting Irish, looking to throw something up, but there are no shots. Rutgers defense has dominated in the second half, totally. Chris Quinn goes to the free throw line, an 87% plus free throw shooter. He now has 16 points and 17, and it's a 14-point game. Scarlet Knights. Rutgers are breaking Notre Dame's limited pressure with relative ease.
Yeah, they're spacing the floor well. That's where Lamizana is a good ball handler at his size. Can take the basketball up and act as like a third or fourth perimeter player. Now you want to take this clock down to about 10 to 12 seconds and then go at it.
Lamizana.
An extra little
travel.
Oh, he's quick with that move, though, isn't he? I think he dragged that pivot foot that trip just then, but he is very effective with that step-through shot of his.
He is. He's unbelievably quick. Here's Quinn getting the ball to Colin Falls. There's nothing there for him. Kicks it out. Chris Thomas fires.
Thomas keeps falling away. That time he really drifted almost into his own bench just then as we're nearing the 2-minute mark, and Rutgers in total command.
The second half, Notre Dame hitting only 7 of 26 shots. Rutgers outscoring the Irish in the second half 42-23 after trailing by 4 at halftime.
ND never gave me the feeling that they got into a comfort level too in the second half in particular.
The story of this game is Rutgers' defense in the second half has been absolutely superior. Colin Falls with an open three. And a quick timeout with 1:42 left to play as Coach Waters comes out to meet with his team on the floor. Now let's take a look at the BMW Ultimate Drive of the game.
Lamizana has played a nice basketball game this afternoon in many different ways, defensively, offensively with some of his moves, mostly down low, going to the basket this time and early in the first half for a reverse and finishing it off. And Rutgers 1 minute and 42 seconds away from finishing off Notre Dame this afternoon.
And Jim, how about Gary Waters' summation of Lamizana, saying Herve's as good as Herve wants to be today? Pretty good.
Yeah, you look at it, 22 points, 7 of 12 from the field, 11 rebounds and 2 blocks. Just a terrific afternoon for him.
That'll win you a letter. I tell you, the guy is, when you see him on his good days, he's just outstanding.
Yeah, and I think his good days like today, Don, this afternoon, he started.
Look at him dribble the ball.
Yeah, I mean, at his size, he's deceiving with his size. His arms are long. He's quick with the basketball. But the key, I think, for him is really to settle in the first 5 minutes of a game on the blocks and get his interior game going first. Then it seems like he's more mentally into the game overall.
Douby putting on a show with Falls, and Thomas goes for the ball. Comes inbounds to the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers with 1:15 left to play. Rutgers win today would bring the Scarlet Knights to 500 in the conference at 4-4 and 12-6 overall. Notre Dame would fall to 4-3 in Big East play. and 10-7 overall.
And Rutgers with their play as Lamizana goes deep. Rutgers with their play against Providence with their win. Their play against UConn. Starting to get some notice in the middle of the conference right here. And the schedule not as bad as we touched on with Notre Dame. Notre Dame has a brutal one. Gary Waters' squad, you know, this is a nice win against a good Notre Dame club.
Gary Waters' team is starting to make a move now. Going for their third straight win. Of course, I think their confidence was greatly picked up, Jim, by the fact they finally won on the road in Big East play at Villanova. That's as we mentioned, the first road win in conference play in 2 years.
Right, exactly. To get that one off your back a little bit. And we worked that Saturday game on January 17th at Pittsburgh, Don, where they put up a nice fight against a very, very good Pittsburgh team.
Look at the numbers under. What you said was very significant about when you see you're playing at Rutgers, a flag goes up. They don't lose here, or very rarely. Chris Quinn now with 19 points for Notre Dame. Corinne Francis also has 19. Leading scorers for Rutgers. Douby, the freshman, with 22. Lamizana with 21. Marquise Webb, another freshman, with 13. Shields has 8. And Notre Dame forced to foul to stop the clock with 1:05 left to play.
Well, that's the only thing they can do now. Mike Bray's team, from Notre Dame's perspective, is continue to foul and hope that Rutgers misses free throws, because any strategy a coach can put up on the board right now, down 10 with a minute and change left, is neutralized and negated by good free throw shooting.
Rutgers with a lot to build on these tremendous young guards, these freshman guards. Lamizana will graduate. Notre Dame has a couple of real impact players joining the program next year. Dennis Lattimore, a power forward, transferred from Arizona. A lot of people think he's been the best player on the floor when he's been practicing with Notre Dame a lot of days. 6'8", 255, and Omari Israel, another power forward who was in knee surgery, but he's back working out. And then they have a 6'9" from Philadelphia named Rob Kurz. So they're getting some big people next year. Here is a down low pass to Corinne Francis, who slams it down. And it's a 9-point game at probably far too little too late. There has been some remarkable comebacks in this building. On January 10th, Providence came here. Rutgers trailed by 5 with 12 seconds left. You were here, Jim.
I sure was.
Lamizana with a bank shot, a three-pointer. Then McGrath of the Friars misses 2 free throws. And then Lamizana hits another 3 with 1 second left, and Rutgers comes back to win 65-64.
Well, from the perspective of Rutgers, you couldn't get a better ending. That was a difficult week for the Friars because their game right before that, if you recall, they lost to Texas in a tough game. So they had themselves a brutal week, but Rutgers really lit it up that evening on the rack.
Notre Dame at this point out of timeouts and out of luck, as the Scarlet Knights, down by 4 at the half, went on a 26-6 run to open the second half. Took command of the game. Notre Dame inched its way back on a couple of occasions, but Rutgers' defense in the second half really gave Notre Dame no open looks.
Yeah, it was a clamping pressure defense, and the shots were just hard to come by from a Rutgers, from a Notre Dame perspective.
Rutgers is shooting 48% for the day. Notre Dame 40%, almost 41%. Scarlet Knights have hit 8 of 22 three-pointers. That's 36%. Notre Dame has hit 7 of 21, 33% from the arc. And of course, on the sideline, Jordan Cornette, who called for a foul and then for a technical, and he's been sitting down for the last 9 minutes. Allen falls. Rutgers calling for an intentional foul.
Going over the top. A lot of times when you see players go over the shoulder, Rutgers just trying to space the floor. Going for the basketball, going for the shoulder. It's always a tough call to make there because everybody knows you're looking for a foul situation.
Shooting 2 for Rutgers.
Chris Thomas, a sportsmanlike gesture, shakes hands and calling a key to trying to get the ball back. And Gary Waters finally can sit back a little bit. This game well in hand. 10-point lead with 53 seconds to go.
Gary Waters has the ability to put all his smaller guys on the floor when they need to space the floor. You got a guy like Wigan who shoots the ball at only 88% from the line, so not a bad guy to have at the line under a minute to play.
Notre Dame can only hope now to come down and start firing threes, and here comes one right now.
Not going to let him get it off that cleanly, though. Wow, it's got to be Hill with the shirt. Hill had the shirt, grabbed the... I don't know, so much traffic in there. I think it was Francis's shirt that he had his hand, and he just pulled him to the floor as he fell to the floor.
And a great overall coaching job by Gary Waters in the second half, and his assistants, Garland Nance, Kevin Heck, and Larry DeCimpolari. Notre Dame under Mike Bray. Associate head coaches Sean Carney. Assistant coaches Lewis Preston and Rod Balanis. And the coordinator of basketball operations is the former point guard Martin Inglesby. Ren Francis at the free throw line, quietly building a productive day and scoring with 22 points. 23. He is the high scorer in the game, but I'm sure he's saying to himself, so what? As Ren Francis now comes out of the game. Quincy Douby was sensational, hitting 4 of 6 threes.
It's where the good free throw shooters for Rutgers are on the floor. You just got to keep fouling. That's what Mike Bray's strategy is right here.
And that's 5 on Timmermans. He goes.
The right guy to be fouling if you're a Notre Dame. Lamizana 64% from the free throw line.
And Rutgers at the line has certainly been productive in the second half. No free throw attempt for the Scarlet Knights in the first half. In the second half, with more coming right now, the Knights are 18 of 21 at the free throw line.
And they continue to give Mike Bray a little life over there. Not a whole lot down 8.
You'd have to have a Lamizana ending here to make this close.
They need a miracle for it. But he's doing the right thing, though, Don. He's stretching the game out and giving himself at least as much time as he possibly can get.
Chris Quinn with a long ball. Rebound down to Lamizana. And falls. Fouls again with 27.9 seconds left to play.
Notre Dame foul number 15. Colin Falls. His third personal foul. Quincy Douby will shoot 2 for Rutgers.
The RAC, almost a relaxed atmosphere now. This is one of the most spirited buildings in college basketball, and sold out again today. But these players really feed off the energy of the fans, giving a lot of scarlet in the stands here, a lot of red.
Yes. And one of the things about that, too, is that right now, I mean, Notre Dame's style down the end, which is the right thing to do, is taking a little steam out of the fans right here because it's a free throw shooting contest, but they were lighting it up, the fans were, about 5 minutes ago.
Rutgers with a lot to celebrate today. A top recruit making his final visit here for football. Wednesday's the signing day. Notre Dame signing, which was supposedly moving slowly, has really picked up. He has had a great defensive end commit from Indianapolis. Ryan Baker verbally commit. The schools won't talk about who commits and who doesn't because they can't until the signing day. They officially sign, but the players can say it.
We're not going to get you to sing the or to whistle the Notre Dame fight song, are we?
Today it's the Rutgers fight song.
Yeah, it sure has been.
A job well done by Gary Waters and his Scarlet Knights as they rally from down at the half and win the game 81-70. Now for Jim Spanarkel, this is Don Trickey. Join us next weekend on many of these stations at noon Eastern as Syracuse visits Providence on Saturday. St. John's hosts Boston College on Sunday. This has been a presentation of ESPN+, the worldwide leader in collegiate sports television. Scarlet Knights celebrate an 81-70 win.